Welcome to All Horse Racing All the Time. I'm Alan, your host, with some horse racing news and notes, and I'm going to answer a question from a viewer. Alan, how do you pick all these winners? You must be cleaning up. We'll get to that, but first, coffee. Excellent. Dunkin' Donuts Original Blend. Sunday morning here in New York City area. It is freezing out, frigid, mid-teens. Yesterday, the first day of winter, just after 7 or so in the morning. And thought I'd bring you some notes. What's going on in horse racing today? And some of you might be asking, Al, what are you slacking off? Well, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. You usually get started 4:30. Well, listen up, folks. I did get started that time. Today, I've already been through the Gulfstream Park card selections, and I'm also working still on. We have Tampa, Oaklawn, and Fairgrounds also running today. So we are on it. And just yesterday, Turfway Park delivered again. That track comes through as usual with the bombs, and we were on it with our selections yesterday, giving out 3 selections per race, key contenders for the win spot and for the exotics. Got out of the gate rolling, did our damage early with the trifecta in the first race, which for 50 cents returned 182.94 and featured my 39.36 winner. Exacta was 147.44. Followed that up with the daily double with a 17.46 winner in the second. The double paid 150.50. And we also had winners in the fifth race of $15.48 and race 9, 11.34. So, yeah, you can do your damage in only a couple of races, even one. That's the beauty of horse racing. And we also had a big day of Fairgrounds with 5 exactas, 4 daily doubles, and 2 pick threes. And the other day, a couple of days ago at Fairgrounds, actually had 4 trifectas out of the first 5 races, and really lit it up over there. And other tracks as well. Those of you who are wondering, you can look back. I have all of my picks out there for every time I do my selections live streams for all multiple tracks, usually between 3 and 5. The other day, 6 tracks a day. So you can go back. Winners out there well in advance. I give out these selections, main selections after scratches and changes. I get them out there a little early before the scratches too, for you early birds who like to get started early on your handicapping, and hopefully you do, because that's how you really stay on top of it and you're prepared. But those selections, you can always look back at my selections and see what took place. It's all out there documented, folks. And got some races today: Gulfstream Park, Tampa, Oaklawn, and Fairgrounds. And we have a limited schedule coming up as we move forward a couple of days before Christmas. So people, I've been asked, and not just by one person, I figured I'd address it briefly today. How do you come up with these winners? And you must be cleaning up. They see it. The tracks even just this week as an example, if you look back, big hits over at Parks. Mahoning went crazy there. Fairgrounds, Turfway Park, some tremendous winners. Wondering what's going on here. Is this guy just rolling in cash? How are you making these picks? Well, let me give you a heads up here. I get started early in the morning to cover these tracks. I do this. This is a profession now as a horse racing analyst. So I get up early and I'm fully prepared to present these selections, because whether I bet on these selections or not, it's my responsibility to get top picks out there. So I go over this thoroughly, and I've gotten it down to now where I can cover a card, fully handicap a card really, really solidly going into the day. Usually by the time the dust clears after the adjustments that I make for the card, after the scratches, and usually between an hour and a half to 2 hours per card. So you add that up, right? I'm putting the leg work in just like anybody else does on their job. I'm putting in, excuse me, you add that up, multiply that times the number of tracks. That's the preparation work I put into it. So there's no easy way around it as far as picking winners. If you get back the preparation you put into the races. So I'm putting the legwork in. I'm not just going out there for fun with these selections. Pour my heart and full dedication, heart and soul into each track, each race to bring forward the best product that I can here for those of you who are viewing these selections, looking at these selections. And I know you're out there because I see thousands, sometimes over thousands of viewers per track that I put out there. Sometimes I have some days over 20,000 viewers, 10,000, even over 30,000, sometimes over 10,000 per track. So whether you're playing these races or not, or just viewing them, you see those selections are out there. And most importantly, as far as I'm concerned, you see the winners. They're out there for all to see, for all the tracks, past tracks. So when you hear me talking about winners, the next day at a given track, or the 4 out of 5 trifectas to start the day at fairgrounds, you can look back at that day, and it's out there before the races. Everything is timestamped. So the prep work is there. Oh, and I treat this just like anybody else has a job, whether you're sitting at a cubicle for 7 hours or you're handicapping the races, prepping for the races, 7, 8 hours, 10 hours. It's just like any other job. And yes, I get paid for it, but the work goes into it. So I do the prep work. Is it fun? Yeah, thankfully for me, since I've started doing this professionally, probably about not quite since June, July especially, where I started covering multiple tracks. There's sometimes it's a grind, but thankfully it's something that I enjoy doing, and I used to do all the time anyway. When I got started, I've put 17 and a half years into this, sharpen my skills, become known around horse racing as the win big guy. And I do the legwork. I do the prep work. I look over, start the day early. I put in the time I put in. I get started usually sometime after 4 o'clock in the morning. Already I have the coffee up. And you say, what, you must be exhausted. No, I usually turn in early. So usually by then I have my 7 hours sleep or more, usually 8 hours, about 8 hours on the average sleep. Yeah, on the weekends I stay up late and that, but during the week, I treat this like any other person treats their job. Get enough sleep, put the work in, and go into work fully prepared to start the day and bring forward the best product available for the viewers out there and help you win money. So I go in there, take it dead serious. As far as the prep work goes, I'll get my data together. I'll look over the tracks. I'll decide on what tracks I'm going to be covering each day. I usually look for tracks that offer good betting opportunities, solid fields, a larger track if at all possible, or with good betting options. You know, I love those tracks with the 50-cent pick threes and the rolling doubles. So yeah, I find my tracks and use the data to get the selections together from there. Usually Brisnet is a staple. I love that. I use Thorograph also on occasion, the buyer figures, and what notes I have about each of the tracks, who the trainers are, the information. I have information coming from multiple sources online for these races and these tracks, these track trends. So I'm familiar now covering these tracks. I've become intimately familiar with the track trends and the jockeys, the trainers, the horses, most importantly. And so I go in there fully armed and ready to rock it. So I choose the tracks, use the multiple data sources. There's no magic formula to this. And what I bring to this here is a little bit differently than some of the other racing. There are other racing shows out there that are more of a fun type of show. They don't treat it how they treat it, I'm not sure. I go out there to have a good time, sit back, watch some races, make some picks, and if you get a pick right, it's like, hey, I got it done. But I treat this like any other analyst or anybody else that goes out there and is sharp in their game, and they follow the races closely, what's going on, and what they have to do, especially if they charge for their services or their selections, which I don't do. I bring my selections to the table here that most people would charge for, and they win very frequently, and not just, chalk. We're talking about some winners, big winners. So I come out here and I have to put my money where my mouth is and bring you the best product available, or best information available as far as playing the races. And just so I get the picks out there, the selections for multiple tracks, and give you the best I can. And whether I bet on these races or not, now I'm going to answer this question. You must be making a fortune. You must be rolling in dough. How you pick all these winners. I gave you this answer to that. I put the work in 17 and a half years, and the time, there's no easy way around the time. I'm not just slapping some picks out there and posting them online and if somebody, and leave it at that. Okay. I put the picks out there in advance. I put in the work. You can see the work I put into it, and they win. Big winners sometimes. Big winners, you just talked about it. So the dedication is there. I'm doing this specifically as a professional service I bring to those out there. And one thing about this is there's no easy way around it. Horse racing, how horse racing differs from other sports that somebody might wager on. There's no computer. There's no algorithm that can just spit out winners. I mean, there are moving parts in every single race. And even sometimes when you find a horse that looks really great, when crunch time comes and it's time to place your bet, sometimes the bet's not even worth playing because everybody's on that horse, or the payouts aren't what you're looking for, and it's not worth it. Maybe it's a pass race now. But in horse racing, you have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to adjust, and you have to be flexible. And that's something a computer can't do. That's why, just like in chess, best chess players in the world, they can beat the best chess computers in the world all the time. So, there's no computer out there that's going to spit out this information. You have to be ready. You have to be flexible, and you have to know what you're doing when you're making these selections. There's some horses that you can spot that no computer is going to spot. So keep that in mind when you're playing the races. As far as that, you must be cashing in. Well, let's put it this way. One of the things I do, let me touch on this real quick. I put down my selections. Not only do I put them out there, I got this at the dollar store, right? Anyway, this is like a pad, and I'll use another one. And just keep track of my selections. Like, for example, these are yesterday's, the 4 tracks I covered yesterday. You could see Fairgrounds, Gulfstream Park, and that's I jot that down after I have my picks in, after scratches, and these are already out there online. So, and then of course I have my pads when I work on it. It's a whole different story before I write it in. I mean, look at these picks. And the beauty is you can see the circles and the squares, and these are horses that have cashed in, and a lot of them big. I keep track of whether there are exactas there. So then I got pages of this stuff all over the place. I mean, geez. So the legwork goes in. There's no shortcut as far as playing these races. As far as I'm concerned, my responsibility is to give you winning picks out there each day, and from multiple tracks, usually between 3 and 6 tracks a day. So, and as far as cashing in, all these horses, all these picks, yeah, I cash in on some of them, but I'm not playing every single one of them. I put this every single one of these races. Sometimes, after I put the time in for a day, whatever time it takes, by 11 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock by noon, I'm already finished with my 8-hour workday, 10-hour workday, sometimes more, sometimes less. I've already done the legwork, and playing the races, I don't play all of these races, but I put my heart in, I pick my spots. Some days I don't play any races at all, and I have a bunch of big winners on my selections and say, Al, you cashed in, you must have crushed it today. And I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that I got it right, that I got good stuff out there for you. But no, I'm not playing all of them. I cash in on a bunch of them, sure, but I'm not bouncing pinballing from between 3 and 4 tracks a day. All afternoon. I put in whatever time I put in the morning to the early afternoon. But then I'm not doing this all afternoon too. Sometimes I'll get some selections out there, some picks in there. Sometimes I'll play just one track or a couple of tracks, but I'm not playing every single race. So no, I'm not cashing in on every time you see me have big hits on some tracks. I might not have bet that track at all, even though I put the picks out there. But what I do when I go back at the end of the day, say a day, especially some tracks, I don't get to see all of them run. I'll go back and I'll watch the replays for a couple of reasons. The thrill of seeing how my horses do, and I can watch it. I don't see that. I don't just look at the results. I go back when I see how my picks do. I go back and I make sure that I just go to the video screen only, and I go race by race, watch all the races for a track, root for it, and I get a tremendous amount of satisfaction when I see these horses win, and I can get to watch the drama unfold, in pick 3s and pick 4s, when especially I see I got the first couple of races right, and one of them has like a longer one in there, or there's a long shot in the third leg, whatever. Pick 4s. I had some big pick 4s. This on the selection. Anyway, I watch it unfold in this way. I get to see the horses, see if I have any horses I want to add to my virtual stable, see what took place during the race, and watch the results and see how I did for that track. So it's like watching horse racing. It's something to enjoy in the evening. Go back and take a look at that. But am I cashing in on all of these winning picks that I give out? No, because oftentimes I'm not playing them. If you're talking about 70 races or 50, 40, 30, 40 something races a day, I'm not betting 40 something races a day. I put everything into each pick. If you go back and you want to ask me about a specific race from the day before, how'd you come up with this horse? I'll be able to tell you. I'll be able to tell you multiple reasons how I came up with that, and different horses why I didn't what I didn't like about another horse. I'm not going to tell you Joe Blow gave me this horse, or this guy's a great player and, he knows what he's doing. No, if your horse play, I wouldn't accept an answer like that. I want specific reasons. If you're out there giving picks, I want you to be able to talk about each horse and talk about why you made those selections. And that's what I can do. I can go back because I'm familiar with these races, whether I play them or not, because I looked at them. I looked them over and I made selections for multiple reasons for each horse and why I didn't like a horse. And they're usually hidden gems you could find as far as some of these long shots come in. Like some long shots came in. I had a couple of them over at Penn National the other night, a track I usually don't cover, but I did look at it the one night and I saw some. It looked like it had a decent card and it was a limited schedule with the holidays. And I saw some horses that looked really interesting over there. Nailed a pick 3 that for 50 cents paid $105. And had some, of course, I had the doubles in there included with that. And you could look at it and you could find things. If you do the legwork, you can find it. Anyway, but go back, and that's what I do. I'll bring this out there to you. I'm thrilled when my selections come in, which is quite often, and whether I bet on the race or not, same dedication and get to receive the same satisfaction. And I enjoy it. And it's something I do as a racing analyst, covering horse races. So I hope that answers some of your question. And thanks for asking. And horse racing today, yeah, again, a couple of 4 tracks to keep an eye on today. Gulfstream Park, of course, Tampa, Oaklawn with the big purses over there, and Fairgrounds. So have a tremendous Sunday, everybody. Finish your coffee. Enjoy it. If you have any questions or comments, leave your comments down below. You want notifications of upcoming selection shows. You don't want to miss those. Hit the subscribe button and the subscribe bell. And you can email me at liveracing@gmail.com. Live Racing Show, all one word, all lowercase. So have a terrific day, everybody. If you're playing today, best of luck and bring it home. Win big. And remember, may the horse always be with you.